Hi guys, welcome to my vlog 3, where yet another time I'm going to be talking about a selected weight room exercise. This time the discussion will be based on skills versus capacities as a limiting factor in order to perform the snatch movement in the most optimal way. I have chosen the movement of snatch mostly because of its high technical and physical demands on the athlete. In order to move high external loads in this fashion, an athlete must possess a number of physical capacities such as strength, power, speed, as well as flexibility and mobility. On the other hand, without well-trained coordination of the muscles, it will be quite impossible to execute this exercise correctly. Therefore, I'm going to be talking about two athletes, of which one is limited mostly by his physical capacity to perform this movement optimally, and another one who's limited by the skill rather than capacities. Here we can see an elite level athlete performing what I consider to be technically correct and optimal way to perform a snatch movement. Athlete maintains his hips and back angle constant in the first pull, which leads to transition phase, where athlete repositions his body so that in the second pull he is able to exert a huge amount of force through the triple extension, aka extension of hips, knees and ankles at the same time, which then launches the bar upwards and lets an athlete reposition himself under the bar, catching it in a full squat position with neutral spine, elbows locked out and externally rotated shoulders to support the high load. Therefore, I would consider this athlete to possess technical skills and physical capacities needed to perform this exercise in the most optimal way. Unfortunately, this does not apply to everyone. In my opinion, skill is the one limiting factor for this athlete to perform the movement in the most efficient way, which is not that very surprising as this person is relatively new to the sport of weightlifting. Here we can see the athlete performing first pull in a relatively low position, which then in my opinion translates into him shooting his bottom up and not being able to maintain a constant angle in his hip and back. I would suggest that this could be fixed by some verbal cues and simply practicing the first pull. Some horizontal variation in between center of mass at the start of the movement and where the athlete catches the bar can be considered as a skill problem as well. After a close inspection, it is clear to see that the horizontal movement is caused by an athlete jumping or pulling himself forward in order to catch the bar in a different position. Further, this can also be seen while looking at the bar path. The bar never crosses or even touches the initial starting line, while still being exposed to large horizontal variation, which then suggests that the movement, to say the least, is not efficient. Because of the lack of muscle coordination, when the athlete is exposed to higher loads, he automatically chooses to catch the bar in a power position and possibly compromises the maximum weight that this individual can lift if the skill is mastered. The second athlete seen in this video, in my opinion, is limited by physical capacities rather than the skill itself. Here we can see lack of strength in the upper back region in order to keep the spine in a neutral position and shoulders retracted. After the initial movement, athlete shoots his bottom up, unable to maintain a constant angle at the hips and the back, suggesting that there might be some weaknesses in the lower body region. Athlete then catches the bar in the position where the force vector goes straight through his heels rather than the midfoot, which then could be considered as an issue. But in my opinion, the biggest capacity problem of this athlete is his lack of mobility in his upper body region or his shoulders. As can seen from this freeze frame, athlete internally rotates his shoulders instead of externally rotating them and places a huge demand on his shoulders and compromises the maximum load that can be lifted by this individual. When played side to side, it is clear to see that skills and capacities limitations can be really close intertwined, and cannot be generalized as it is a very individual factor. This suggests that strength and conditioning professionals should adjust athletes' programming or training in order to fit these particular skills or capacities goals in order to improve their end performance. The two videos at the start were borrowed from Hook Grip's YouTube channel. Thank you.